think 17, 16, I'm pretty certain. More pine forests ahead. I've just come through some towns. It's about 12 o'clock now. Done about 25 miles and I've been cycling for about 3 hours, just over. But I've had plenty of breaks. Bonjour. Bonjour. It's hot today, quite windy. I've got a headwind in my face now. I've got a bit of a problem with my phone. I don't know what's going on with it. It's playing up. I think it's just dirty. The screen doesn't respond with my finger points and touches. I think it's greasy. It's probably sun cream and things, and the fingerprint identifier, not Rascal on the side, doesn't always work now, and I think that's dirty and probably sun cream on it and goodness knows what else. I'm gonna have to sort that out. Oh, it's better. It's cooler in here. Bonjour. It's much cooler in here. I've had a few climbs today. I've only climbed about just over 550 feet, but they've been kind of short, steep ones, if you see what I mean. The one we're on now is about one degree, just over, and these are okay, but some of them have been sort of 9 and 10. Met an interesting guy today on a trike. He converted it and he was pulling a trailer, like a mini caravan on the back. He was about 4 foot tall, maybe 3 foot wide and about 6 feet long, and he slept in it, and he's been on the road for a year and a half. He's French, he spoke English. I didn't get any pictures. It's crazy. I keep doing this. I keep meeting so many interesting people and I don't film it. Anyway, but he spent the winter in Portugal and Spain, hopping backwards and forwards. Oh, don't start coughing again. Another fly. Got to get your protein somewhere, I suppose. Yeah, so he was about 100 we must be about 160 miles away from Bordeaux. Bonjour. And I said, he said, well, I've got to go now because I'm on my way to Bordeaux. I've got to be there for the weekend. Well, I think this Wednesday now. He's got to do 160 miles in 3 days. Pulling a trailer. And his trike was a cat trike. It's an American brand. And the bearings on the front wheels are gone. So what that's running on, I don't know. And we lifted up one side of it, and the wheel wobbles about ½ an inch left to right. I'm thinking, goodness me, it's like pushing a wheelbarrow, isn't it? With full up with sand with a flat tyre, and then wondering why it's so hard. Anyway, it was up to him, and he was doing it. He says he averages 8 kilometres an hour, and I mean, I don't even do that. I'm averaging about 6 or 7. He's much younger than me, of course, but even so, to pull what he's pulling with the equipment he's got and still average 8 kilometres an hour is mind-boggling. Must have strong legs. Still, he is French. Now that's sort of a little clue there. I'm not going to say any more. Perhaps you'll get it, perhaps you won't. Perhaps I'll be accused of being racist, or anti-frog. Oh, shouldn't have said that. Gave a little clue away there. He must have strong legs. And he's French. Oh, pine trees, aren't they lovely? Look. Ooh, all the way to the sky. All these bloody root bumps on this tarmac. Right, now, the following day from the night before. Yesterday, I thought, okay, I can start to take it easy now because I've been putting in all those miles. I thought I'll find a place to stay and not camp. Went on to booking.com, up come about 3 at about 30 quid when I looked at their dormitories, mixed dorms, 6 beds in a room, shared bathroom, and that's just not me, is it? Not at 70 years old. And plus, whoever's in there doesn't want me in there, so, you know. I gave up on those. Then one popped up. It was a campsite offering glamping. One night only, £41. Nice pictures of a nice tent and everything. And I'm thinking, well, that's all right. It's got a bed in it and it's got electric. It's probably Wi-Fi, you know, and all this. And it'll be close to the loos. And I don't mind the campsites now this time of year because they're quite empty anyway. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go for that. So I booked it. And then I realised I'm going out to go back about half a mile and then across about 3 miles, 4 miles. Now my golden rule is never go back, and it's proved to be correct yet again.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. It's proved to be correct yet again. I went back and across. So basically I've done today, all in all, by getting there and coming back to where I was, I suppose I've added 10 miles, no, 8 miles, 9 miles. Anyway, I got there, found it, okay. It was a bit weird, no one in reception, you know, all this sort of thing. The name of the campsite when I got there on the board was different to the name that was being advertised on booking.com. And all these things, I don't know that the likes of booking.com fully understand what that means to people who are searching for something, you know. So I sort of, I messaged, there was a phone number, so I've got a phone number on the booking.com form, you see, so I messaged the phone number, so I've just arrived, and straight away, within a few seconds, a message came back, okay, I come, hi Claudius, you know, all that nonsense. And up pedals a youngish girl, I suppose, woman, about 5 minutes later, and Andrew, yeah, that's me, yeah, okay, all right, okay, so I'll show you the facilities first. So she showed me the loos and the toilets, and there's a room there with a microwave and a washing machine, but they want €4 to do the washing. I said, does it dry? She says, no, but if you put your clothes in the sun, they'll dry in 2 hours. Well, that's all very well if you've got a clothesline. Anyway, so that was all kind of okay. So she said, I said, well, where can we go to see what I've got, you know? Oh, okay, we'll ride there, she said. It's just over there, a few hundred yards. Okay, fair enough. So normally I'm so careful with my bloody phone, and I put it in there. I've got a little pocket at the back of my seat. I always put it in there. And this time I didn't. I put it in my shorts pocket by mistake. Wasn't thinking. Jumped on the trike, off I pedalled, boom, out comes the phone. And of all places, most of it was grass and sand, but we had to cross a road with loads of gravel on it, and that's where it came out. And it's dented the bloody screen. It's gone through the... bonjour, gone through the screen protector. I'm not sure whether it's damaged the screen underneath yet. If it's working, but it's just one of those things, and it ties in with my rule, never go back. And I'm thinking, this is a bloody bad omen. So I pick it up and off we go again. Then we go round past 2 of these sort of glamping tents. One was shaped like a sort of wigwam, quite big, probably about 15 feet across, and the other 2 were more square-like. But what I noticed straight away, the ones that were square-like were occupied, and there were cars outside, and they were lived in, you know. They weren't one-nighters there, they were there for the duration. So it looked like there was only 1 tent. Now on booking.com it says there's 3. Well, there is 3, but 2 of them are occupied, but they're all available on booking.com. But I think what happens, you book one of them, all the same pictures apply to all 3, and when you get there, it's the wigwam one, you see. Anyway, but they range in price, bonjour. They range in price from 41 to 51. But basically, it's all the same bloody wigwam. Anyway, so off we get, and she unzips it. The fridge inside, all this. Straight away, as soon as she unzipped the door, bloody hell, the heat that came. I mean, it was hot outside, don't get me wrong. You know, I can feel a Robin Williams coming on here. It was hot, damn hot. And and then the air that came out of the tent was bloody hotter. So I don't know what I was thinking really at that stage. I was just sort of on the edge of thinking, is this a mistake? Anyway, so she says this, that and the other, what, you know, what do you want? I'll do it. I'm including breakfast, and breakfast consists of a loaf of bread, well sorry, a baguette, a croissant, a pot of jam that's in the fridge, some butter that's in the fridge, and half a big jar of orange, fresh orange, which was rather nice, I must admit. It was so hot and I was so tired, and so this was about 3 o'clock, so I'm finishing early. The plan was to finish early and treat it as like a half rest, you know, and have a bed and everything. But anyway, she poodled and said she'd be round with the breakfast at 7:30 and things. And then I'm sitting, there's a chair outside, but they have those bloody stupid canvas chairs that sit about 8 inches from the ground. So for an old man like me at 70, you know, I need a bloody chairlift to get out of it. And that canvas, and you put your hands on the side and it sort of gives way, and oh dear. And I'm thinking, oh geez, this is terrible. So then I look around and I'm seeing these flies in and out of the door now because she's left it open, and various other sort of insects moving around, thinking, all right, the door's open, come on, time to get in there before lights out. And so I'm thinking, well, now what do I do? There's no mesh, so I think, do I close the door and keep the heat in there? Bearing in mind this is 3 or 4 o'clock and we've still got four fucking hours of sunshine, so it's probably about 30 odd degrees. In the tent it's probably nearer 40. So I've got all the panniers off, put them all in the tent, and got my tent out of the bag, and I didn't unroll it, I just left it on the side. But I'm noticing ants and things, and I'm thinking, oh no, this is going to be a mistake. So I sat off. I knew there was electric there because there was a kettle there, so I had to rummage around at the back of this cupboard thing to find an electric point, which there was. So I managed to get everything charged. You know, whenever I get the opportunity, I charge everything I can. And I'm sitting there, setting this up in the tent now, probably 35, 40 bloody degrees. And the sweat was just pouring off me, so I thought, well, shit, I've got to go and have a shower. So I went and had a shower, came back and sat outside, and it wasn't too bad sitting outside. But there's people coming and going from these other 2 tents. One was playing a bit of music, not loud, but just, you know, they were youngsters, they weren't old people. A few RVs pulled in and camped over the other side. So there was people about, but I suppose in all there was only about 10 occupiers. And anyway, I got to about 7 o'clock. I thought, well, can I go in now? And I'm going to do myself something to eat. And I went in, and it's still bloody hot in the tent. So I'm sitting outside now. And now, of course, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, it's starting to get a little bit cooler, and the gnats are out and the mosquitoes. And I'm thinking, I can't open the door because the mosquitoes are going. Anyway, eventually it got to a sort of that medium point where I can think, well, it's hot in there, but it is cooling, bonjour, but it is cooling down. So that's what I did. I eventually went in, closed the door, and I laid on the bed, and within seconds I'm bloody sweating buckets again. But while I'm laying on the bed, I'm feeling the backs of my legs, and the bloody bed was damp. It was damp, there's no question. I mean, it wasn't my sweat because I wasn't on it long enough, but the bed was damp. And I thought, oh, what have I done? You know, for another 10 or 20 quid I could have got a hotel room. Okay, the trike would have been a problem, but you know, anyway, yeah. So it's a lesson learnt for me. I think it's cost me 43 quid in all, so I have to pay a fee to book in, don't I? It's a lesson learnt. I'm not going to do that again. It's not a saving at all. Actually, I'd have been better off camping, because I can camp for 10 quid, you know, 12, 15 euros in most cases. And yeah, I've got the setting up and the taking down, but at least I'm in control of the wildlife. So I've learnt that valuable lesson. Anyway, I got in, and I eventually sort of got to about 9, 10 o'clock, and it was cooler now. The sun had gone, and it was definitely cooler in the tent, but it was still probably in the high 20s. I just got used to it. I'd drunk all the orange by now, which was for my breakfast. So now I need to pee, you know, all the usual problems that come with camping. So you got a sort of a 100-yard walk to the bloody loo and come back. You sit down and think, shit, I'm still hot, I want to have a drink. You have another drink, and then within 20 minutes you want to go to the loo again. Well, that's old age for you, isn't it? Anyway, eventually it got dark, so I'm kind of getting in the bed and I'm checking in the bed. There was electric light and things in there, but of course as soon as I put the electric light on I can see what's in there with me, you know. So I'm thinking, no, I'd rather not know. So I'm getting in the bed, and then I'm sort of on there. I'm looking at the phone, and the light from the phone, I'm looking on the eiderdown, like this thin eiderdown that I've got on me, and there's ants crawling around. Oh, and I think I'm sort of flicking them off one by one, and I'm thinking, this is, you know, I'm fighting a losing battle here. You know, the more I flick, the more they say, oh, there's something wrong up there, let's get up there in their numbers, you know, let's get the numbers onto the home front, you know. So eventually I got in and sort of half fell asleep about 11, maybe just dozed. I don't think I slept. And then I could hear noises outside. I don't know what it was, because my trike's outside. So at 10:30 all the lights went off on the camp. I did see a sign saying all the lights go off at 10:30. So all the lights went off. And then I could hear more noises, dogs barking, and it sounded like people walking around. I'm thinking, oh God. So up I get, and because it's one of these big canvas tent wigwam jobbies, the zips on them aren't quiet. When you unzip it, it's like a bloody machine gun. So obviously I'm unzipping and I'm going out after hours now, and because then I can hear other zips going where people are probably thinking, who's that out there now? Who's creeping around? Let's go and see. So I've gone out and I'm trying to get the trike in the tent now. It did go in, but I should have done it to start with, and just that would have been the end of it. There was so much room in there, because I see it was this is about 15-foot bloody diameter. All it's got is one double bed in it and a fridge and a couple of little cupboard things and a couple of chairs, but there was loads of room, so the trike went in easily. So I wheeled the trike in, but by now, of course, the mosquitoes have landed on me outside, thinking, oh, here we go, boys, you know, fresh food here, takeaways, you know. And that's how it ended. And then I eventually probably got to sleep about 1, and I woke up, I was awake before 6. Bonjour, merci. And so I had a terrible night, and I didn't sleep at all, and the bed was definitely damp. In fact, I would say it was wet almost. It's borderline damp to wet. And I can see that it's not being used. You know, it was clean, don't get me wrong. They're making the effort, but the fact is it's not being used. I don't think people are going there. And the other two that I said were there, I think they were long stays. So all in all, it was a really unbelievable. I would say it was probably the worst experience I've had on this trip. And I had that one outside the bloody camping outside the graveyard one night, you know. And that was, up until then, was the worst one. But I think last night was the worst. But what made it even worse for me was the fact that it cost me 43 quid. Anyway, we live and learn. 43 quid well spent for the experience. Never again. Don't know what I'm going to do tonight. I shall just look at about that in about 2 or 3 o'clock. Start making moves to find somewhere. Other than that, everything's going fine. It's difficult to know what to say, really. I mean, as you can see what's going on in front of me, there's things happening, people milling about. These paths are quite amazing. They do get a bit tricky in the town sometimes, because, you know, the markings wear off, you know, with the traffic and things. But look what's coming up, you know. This is a crossroad, so we're going to cross a major road. I mean, this has been literally all the way through bloody France. Look at this, look. You know, stop, give way. I just tend to listen, and then away we go again. There's a little place to stop. Ooh, water. That's interesting. Right, I'm going to get some water. There's a tap. Right, a little place there. I can fill up with water. Some seats. And a biscuit. Bit more wildlife around here. There's more diversity in the trees. You've still got the pines, but covering the main swathes, but then you get these lovely little back ways. Yeah, back to the phone. I'm not sure because it's not giving me. It does. Oh, that was interesting. That was performing just for us, I think. Oh, those bamboos are suffering, aren't they? It's bamboo hedge as well. Oh. It's not giving me messages anymore, and I have to keep recentering it, and it wasn't doing that before. Maybe I'll just turn the phone off and restart it. Maybe it's got some glitches that it can't sort out. It is Android, so I know they do get a bit tangled up sometimes. I've had a couple of things happen I don't think I've reported on yet. One day, I can't remember, it was some time ago now, a few days, both instances were, I cycling along, I was singing away I think, and then boop, something went in my mouth and it felt quite large. It wasn't huge, but it felt bigger than a gnat, if you know what I mean, bigger than a mosquito, and it bloody stung me on the tongue, whatever it was. I'm spitting and getting rid of it quick. So I'm biting down on the middle of my tongue and sort of squeezing the tongue, pulling it back through my teeth to stop any, if it has stung me quite badly, getting any poison out and stop it getting into my bloodstream, bonjour. And which seemed to do the trick. So it did sting for a few days, and there was a little lump there for a while as well, but it was okay. That was one thing which was quite interesting. And then another one was, because I'm wearing shorts, there I was cycling along quite happy, enjoying the views, you know, just going along as things planned, and I could feel something underneath, because I'm on a seat, aren't I, you know, not like a car seat, but I'm on a seat rather than a saddle, so I could feel something underneath the back of my leg on my left side. So I thought, well, there's something there, it just don't feel right. So I felt on my shorts outside, and I can feel a lump, which is probably about half an inch long, and it was moving. And I think, shit, what's that? So I grabbed it in sort of through my shorts and pincered it in the shorts, so it couldn't, whatever it was, it wouldn't be able to sting me. But because I'm still moving at this point, so I've got one hand and I'm trying to stop and brake and bonjour and hold this thing between my fingers just in case it's a bee or a wasp or something, and before it stings me. I've got to protect the crown jewels especially, you see. So, but I mean, I just guessed it was going to sting me on the leg if it had a chance. So I managed to stop, put the brake on, sort of leaned over in the seat, still grasping this thing between my fingers, and with my other hand I've put that down inside between my leg and inside my shorts to find out what I'm up against. But I'm thinking, well, I've got to release the pincer grip I've got through the shorts to find out what I've got. So I sort of took a chance. I thought, well, if it's a bee or anything, or a hornet or anything, it's going to sting me on the hand or the fingers, which is going to be a problem, but I'd much rather that than on the back side sort of thing, which means I've got to keep cycling. So anyway, so I sort of released the pincer grip through the shorts and grabbed it with, because it was kind of elongated, you know, it was a long shape. And I thought, well, if I stay away from the pointy end, it's, you know, I should be okay. So I yanked it out, and it looked like about an inch long, bee, but it was like a hornet thing. It was yellow and black. And I sort of yanked it out and just threw it, you know, with the other way. And that was that. I think I escaped that quite well, actually. That could have been quite a bad, could have been an incident. So things do happen. It's not all plain sailing. Oh, and last night, talking about the campsite, I did get this on film, actually, so it will show up in the YouTube videos. Hang on, that's why I'm doing this now, isn't it? Yeah, I did get it on the GoPro as well. So once I get up home and get the YouTube videos up, I'll show it. I was sitting in the tent sorting out my electrics, trying to get them all, everything charged up. And across the sort of raised bit where the zip goes, in comes marching a bloody stag beetle. And it must have been about 3 inches long. It's huge. So I tried to kick it out with my foot, and it was having none of that. It just sort of reared up on its hind legs, and it has those big bloody great pincers at the front. So I thought, well, what am I going to do? So I put my hat down for it, thinking that I can get it onto the hat, and then I tried with my foot, tried to sort of urge it from the back, push it onto my hat, and it did. It walked onto the hat. So once I got it on the hat, I then took it out, and about 20, I don't know, 15 yards away, there was a tree, so I put it on the tree, the hat, that is, rested it up so it could walk off the hat onto the tree, which it did. And that was it. But that was another shocker. So you need to watch out for that. It'll probably be in this video. I'm talking about it now. Right, well that's it, another day. Oh dear, look. Pines, more pines. Oak trees. Hey, look, yeah, they're oaks, aren't they? Look, oak trees growing out of pine trees. The coast is over there, which is the way I'm pointing. It's not far actually, I don't think. It's still quite close. Right, onwards and upwards. How the other half live, eh? I'm going to get some footage around here. I'm sort of following this all the way round, so I'll get some. How much I'll get, I don't know. There's quite a bit here. There's a lot of boats here. Gee, I wonder how much money's sitting in there in boat value. Perhaps that's a new currency, boat value. Turn left? You're having a laugh, that's right. Turn left. If it says I'm going the wrong way, I'm going to have to turn around and go back. And gee, look. On and on and on. They're right over there. You bet your life all those villas over there and all those apartments over there are people with boats. And a skateboard. And a fat bike. And that's the end. All these, you can bet your life they're all boating people. Turn left. Well, I'd like to, but I'm not sure that I can. Yes, I can. I can see a green, which is bikes. Do I need to move? Oh, I can wait. Oh no, there's more. There's more. There's always more, isn't there? Oh. Probably the engines on some of those probably cost the price of a house. Some pretty unique dwellings there actually. See the shutters all closed down? Security or sunshades? Take your pick. Oh, so it's not all canals, is it? And fields of barley. Okay, I'm going to turn off now because I need to make sure I'm going in the right direction.